So yeah, next up, we have an article that you put up, Pat, regarding our first ever podcast episode. What was the takeaway here?
So basically, we started, I guess, for you that don't know already from my complaining in the chat, we moved over host to Podbean.
Yeah.
So we decided that I think that's probably the cheapest and the most secure option after the whole Castos
debacle
fiasco.
Castosgate?
Castosgate, hashtag Castosgate. But yeah, I was very frustrated because they removed all our image thumbnails. They removed the formatting on our description, and I tried to contact them about it, and they never contacted me back about it. And I was like, well, okay, that's fine. Then guess I'll move over host.
You don't want our money, then, I guess.
You don't want, yeah, exactly. So moved over to the Podbean. Probably give it a week or two, and then cancel our Castos subscription. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it'll still all work. If not, then resubscribe on iTunes, guys. Anyways, and sort of a cool little thing, because I think it's been 4 years since we started this little a college semester or a high school career since we started Shiro. I thought it'd be good to do a little retrospective, maybe weekly or bi-weekly. We'll see what it is, but it's mostly an excuse for me to update the episodes and stuff, so it gives me time to re-add the images and talk about the episode. But I thought I'd give a nice little retrospect on our first episode of the I guess it's the Saturn podcast, or the Sega Saturn podcast that we called it on the show.
Yeah.
Because
the Saturn cast. There wasn't anything
Saturn
else
cast.
out there, and there was like Dream Pod out there. There was it's funny. I was looking back at our messenger, correspondence, and it was like the first thing you ever sent me was some comment about something I was doing in one of the groups, right? But this was like February of 2017. So Pat and I first basically became friends, started communicating with each other in February of 2017.
Yeah, because I think you commented on my Police Knots repro and was like, yeah, this is pretty shitty, Patrick.
No, I did not say that. That sounds like your words.
That's awful. but no, this is garbage, Patrick. Fix it.
I think it was that summer though. It was later that summer, or moving on into summer, that you called me. I was at like a soup plantation or something like that. I remember these things. I don't know why. I was at a soup plantation or something like that with some friends. I get this call from this guy, or a text or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" I was like, of course I want to start a podcast. Like, I love talking. I talk too much. Like, I need to talk about this stuff, but I don't have any friends who are like Saturn fans who want to talk about this stuff. But that's kind of how it started. Sad, really. And
that's pretty funny.
Did you just say soup plantation?
Soup plantation.
Yeah, that's the name of it.
Yeah,
it's big in California.
It's big it's closed in California now after COVID. It's completely COVID shut that thing down.
I think it was like a buffet. It's sweet tomato everywhere else though.
It's sweet. Yeah, in the Bay Area, there's something called Fresh Choice that's kind of similar. I don't know. It's a salad buffet basically. It's a salad buffet, and then they have soup.
It's like super salad.
The only thing that came to mind for me was like that Code Geass parody. I'm at soup.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I prefer. Oh jeez. The only thing I remember Code Geass is the famous fish one, where Suzaku's holding a fish and said something very.
That's the second Code Geass reference, because I think you guys were just talking about it last week on last week's show.
Well, yeah, because they're in the new game, the new
exactly.
Ribbit Wars.
So we started a podcast. So we needed a third. And Kay was up to the task.
Yeah, and, actually, we originally had 4 people, but it was some certain person from a group. It was somebody from the Sega Saturn Collectors of America group, and I contacted him like, "Yeah, Scott. It's not for me, man."
It was Scott Stein.
We talked. Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you get in touch with somebody who's just like totally happy to consume. They're not interested in putting out stuff, and that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it? Nick was just saying the other day, I probably research Saturn games more than I play them, you know? And I mean, for me, it's like I probably create Saturn related content more than I play the Saturn these days. But I mean, that doesn't mean that I didn't spend, a couple decades binging, everything Saturn, so it's like these days I have to be creating something. Otherwise, I just don't feel like I'm, I feel like a waste of space. But that isn't,
I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's great. This was literally go back and listen to these old podcast episodes if you guys just, want to hear us being very amateurish, but also, when prices were cheaper, they were still ridiculous, but they were cheaper, and, less people were doing this. The Saturn hadn't really hit like a stride in terms of popularity yet, in terms of like social media popularity. So it's just an interesting little time capsule. And we do want you guys to go back and listen to a lot of this stuff, because we talked about games that we might not cover again, at least might not cover again for a really long time. So it's always a good idea to go back and listen to this stuff, because you'll hear us cover the Saturn library and talk about different games. So yeah.
It is pretty crazy when you mention the time capsule, because I mean, at the time, I don't think Genovi had his channel up. I think Sega Lord X still had his first iteration.
Yeah.
He shut it down and relaunched.
Yeah.
What's his name? The Portuguese guy we had on the podcast.
Stika.
I forgot his name completely.
Stika
didn't have his channel up.
Yeah.
The Saturn Junkyard Titan cast wasn't even a thing.
Well, yeah, I guess they were. It was in the works, and we beat them to the punch by like 1 or 2 months, and then when their thing dropped, we're like, hey, you guys. But it was
what's going on here, guys?
Yeah, it was completely a fluke. I mean, it was completely a coincidence that there was this whole other group of people having the same idea to make a Saturn podcast at the same time. So anyway, we're real good friends with them.
Ended up going on to be the SSG.
That's right.
It's just crazy how everything moved on 2017.
Yeah.
Like there's so many careers launched, there's so many videos made, there's so many audio stuff, and just the prices were funny too. Like I was mentioning that Kay was saying how ungodly expensive Panzer Dragoon Saga was at $400 to $500. Mm-hmm. And now it's like at over the $1,000 mark.
Well, yeah, that's the deal. Is back in Sega Collectors of America or whatever, which is the group I was originally in.
Yeah.
Before the Junkyard group launched, and again, we're talking about Facebook groups, guys. Which Pat and I are pretty much done with Facebook by now. We're pretty much just exclusive to Discord because, like, time,
and Twitter.
Time. We just don't have the time anymore. But but yeah, essentially, I was arguing with some guy on that group about like selling his copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga for like $450, and I was like, that's too much, And now I need to go back and give him an apology because honestly, it's just gotten crazy, gotten out of control.
Yeah, I think another one I liked is when you mentioned how you wanted Grundy on the Saturn, saying, I want Grundy on the Saturn, but nobody wants to do it.
Yeah,
and it's like fast forward like 2 years, and
that's true. That's true. Happened. Yeah, I actually did. There is one podcast where we're talking about like fan translations or like pipe, wishes that we have, pipe like dreams, that something would exist, and that was what I was saying. Like, I wish somebody would do an English version of Grandia. Lo and behold,
we did the same thing with technically the same thing with Bulk Slash, and look what happened with that.
Yeah, Retrospectors. By the way, hey Retrospectors, how's it going? They're in the chat. I think it's Retrospectors that are doing a lot of the Netlink over VoIP streams. I really enjoy those streams that you guys do. So keep that up, because those are always entertaining, at least to me, because I'm a nerd. But definitely, they're saying that they like the TJ Davis cast, and that actually was a really, really fun cast to do. And actually, we have got another guest up our sleeve that we're going to be interviewing tomorrow. It's a complete secret, but it's a big deal. At least it's a very big deal to me. So I am so excited to get this thing edited. Well, I'm so excited to meet with this guy, talk about everything that he's going to divulge to us, and then hopefully get that up to you guys to listen to soon. Because yeah, I've been sitting on this thing for like over a month and just doing a ton of research to get some questions hammered out for our guest tomorrow. So very excited for that. Keep an eye out. Keep an ear out.
It's gonna be exciting. I'm super excited to do it as well. It's gonna be sweet. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know I will.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. But yeah, stay tuned though, guys. We're gonna do more of these. I don't know if it's gonna be weekly or bi-weekly. We'll see. But I kind of like doing retrospectives on the podcast, and sort of like it's like a director's commentary almost.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it too, because a lot of times people who sub new to a podcast, they probably just look forward and they're like, oh, well, I missed, real quick to answer Night of Dragons question. No, tomorrow our mystery guest is an interview that we're going to conduct in private, and we're going to publish it as a podcast episode. And I'm hoping that it's going to be, we got him for like 2 hours. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a lot of good information that, and information that is not currently known in the community. So this is going to be real good. I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers.
It's going to be fun. I believe in you, Dave. It's going to be awesome.
Hopefully we'll have a dump of information for Unseen 64 that they'll be able to update a bunch of articles on Unseen 64. There, hint, hint. That's all I will say.